Because there is other global players, big players, United States, Japan, and we could say other important big countries who have impact. But we have to understand that the future of Ukraine with European Union is our priority, and we should be the leaders of it. And first of all, Ukraine must be and is the leader in saying what means peace in Ukraine. And I also want to emphasize it just so we are very clear on this, because we see that Putin and Russia wants to claim a different kind of peace, which we know is not a peace. It's an occupation. That's what they plan for. But we want peace in Ukraine. And this peace can be only described and drafted by Ukraine. And I'm so glad that Ukraine proposed such a peace, and it's the 10-point peace plan of Volodymyr Zelensky. And we have to all say, and it must be very clear and strong sound out of Europe, to say that this is the only peace that we support, and this is the peace that we support. And on these basic principles, we have to build. But if you want to build a good structure, you can never forget, and you have to always remind yourself and also all the others about these principles. So that's why I'm stating them right now, even though we all must say this is natural. We all agree, of course, but we have to also be very vocal about it, so we never forget. And so when we speak of this economic integration of Ukraine, we have to also understand the benefit of it. Because sometimes the people say, oh, this is just a sympathy with Ukraine, that we're going to help them. This is not a sympathy. First of all, Ukraine doesn't need our sympathy. They invested into Europe enough during our history. I, as a Slovak, can say that we thank the Ukrainian soldiers during the Second World War who liberated our territory and gave their lives for Slovakia. So they definitely don't need our sympathy. They definitely need our respect and honor for what they did 70, 80 years ago for example, Slovakia. But what we need, we have to think strategic. And when we think strategic, the stronger we are, the bigger we are, the stronger we are. And that goes for European Union. And all the funds that will be needed for rebuilding European Union will be rebuilding Ukraine. We need to this money also the labor force. We need for this money the companies. We need for this money a system, because we want to make it the most efficient, and it will be for the benefit of all of us, not just the Ukrainian citizens, but for the whole security and economic system of Europe. And that's where you are so important. And I want to ask you to really think strategic. This is not just about some short-time business opportunity, but as it was said also during this panel, that we need this cooperation forever, because that's what makes us strong, that's what makes us resilient, and that's what will bring peace again into Europe. And it will be a solid foundation for this peace in Europe that we so much need. And it will be also an example. What Volodymyr Zelensky started with the leadership, how he acted, and the brave approach he has, this is a new role of a politician. Politician that is not a populist, but that is brave and fights for values. And we know and we see that with this threat of social platforms, and it's not the threat of them, but it's the threat of the information, unregulated information that is floating, and this disinformation and hoaxes that we see. We need more and more leaders that are role models for the population. And therefore, I think it's so important that we understand that we're fighting here for the values that we want to show to our next generation, so that what kind of values they need to follow. Going back